Alright, so I'm gonna try to get this, get a jump on this ice dam that's starting to happen here. We got about, I don't know, 2 inches of ice starting to build up. It builds up on a hot roof and it'll dam the water that's melting and start leaking if you don't get a jump on it. So, first order of business is to get these icicles off. Alright, so back in the summertime, my Aunt Penelope, she sent us this here because she watched a video of me taking snow off the roof last year and thought it was a little bit dangerous and a bit of a pain. So she sent us this. I'm going to open it up, see what we got in here, and put it to use right now. Thanks a lot, painting this new works great. Alright, so this is a Nordic drip stove. They're made in Europe and they burn a diesel. So I got a tank of diesel outside and it's piped in through 3/8 copper tubing, and it it drips the diesel into the burner here. And 1 week ago it stopped working all of a sudden, so
not coming out.
It was getting really sooted up, and it wasn't burning right for the last several months, right when I fired it up from the beginning of this fall. So some soot, I guess, clogged the port where the diesel was going to the carburetor, and it stopped it, and so it got clogged. So I had a technician come out here, and he's the only technician that knows about these units in the state of Alaska. And he taught me about everything about this. So first of all, what we did was we took it all apart, we cleaned it, and we took this clogged part out and got all that out. And then we opened it up, and the diesel started flowing into the firebox, and we lit it, and then it started the flame, the diesel flame, which is a liquid diesel burning. So what you do not want on any diesel burning heating unit is liquid diesel burning. That's not what you want. You want diesel vapor is going to burn. So for diesel vapor to burn, you have to get this firebox hot enough for it to actually vaporize the diesel, and then the flame will catch that the diesel vapor on fire, and that will ignite the flame and put out basically a very bright yellow to blue flame. So if you look in here now, you actually will see bright yellow and some blue flames mixed in. And it's putting out a lot of BTUs now, so it's working beautifully. So anyways, it wasn't really working before correctly. There was a few issues. The carburetor was not tuned correctly, and upon initial ignition, I didn't light it up correctly, so it never got hot enough to vaporize diesel. So it was just burning liquid diesel, and it was sooting up everything and making a lot of problems. So anyways, after the guy taught me how to do it and fired it up, showed me how to tune it correctly to allow the correct amount of diesel to flow in here, this cabin got so hot that we couldn't even sleep at night. It's the first time we had that problem where we had to take all the food out of here, put it outside, because our food started going bad because it was so hot in here. It was too hot. Sphinx couldn't take it. We couldn't sleep at night. I mean, we were butt naked up there, no covers on, too hot. And so had to tune it back down a little bit and slowly kind of crank it down to limit the flow of diesel because it was just burning way too hot. And I tuned it just right, I believe, right now. So outside now is minus 11 degrees. And I got this on a setting of 2, a lower setting. And it's putting out probably about 25,000 BTUs. So it's heating this cabin up to about 20 degrees Celsius over. So it's probably around 10 degrees positive inside the cabin right now. Downstairs, upstairs is probably 15 degrees. It shouldn't soot up anymore because it's burning really hot and it's burning efficiently now. It's not producing any soot. So it's a really good unit because it doesn't require any electricity. So this is for off-grid purposes here. It's 440. That right there is good. Oh, it's right here. Come in inside. I was stepping on his hole. He was like yelling at me. Okay, so we had about 1 week of pretty low temperatures, and it finally got down to more than minus 30 degrees last few nights. And my car, the battery got really cold, and this is a kind of an older battery, so it's a few years old, almost 4 years old. So the battery almost died. It didn't have enough juice to actually start the car, so my car wouldn't start. So I pulled the battery out and gave it a charge with this car charger here. So it's a full charge now. We're getting 15 volts. So this thing is fully charged. And something that you have to do every once in a while if you live in Alaska and you have a very old battery, or you're living anywhere in the very northern cold climate, if you have an older battery, sometimes the car won't start because the battery doesn't have enough juice to turn the car over. And one reason is because the oil in the car gets very cold, so it's more difficult to turn the car over and start it. So. Starts up. It's alive. is having a trouble pulling the load. So.
Is it working?
Yeah. So, generator was failing to pull the load necessary. It's like a 40 watt load, or sorry, a 40 amp load to kick on, charge the battery. So that got me really nervous. So I was worried about what might be going on. I took the generator apart, inspected the air filter, and just gave it a nice oil change. Gave it some fresh oil, and the oil looked a little bit, you know, like it was about ready to change, looked a little brown. Not too bad, but gave it some fresh oil, started it right up, and it's working perfectly now. So fixed the problem.
Time to change the oil?
Yeah, I think maybe what might have happened was it's been so cold, and yesterday I really needed to run to charge the battery. It was completely out. So I was charging one battery yesterday, and I had to crank the generator a lot to get it to turn over and start because the generator was frozen. And I think that maybe after that I ran the generator pretty much all day, and that might have really just degraded that oil in there. So it needed to be changed. This thing is really nice and warm. Puts out a lot of heat, actually. And a lot of light. It's what we use when we run out of electricity here at the cabin. So I'm going to talk about what happened 2 weeks ago. It was a severe situation. Basically, there was like from after Christmas, the temperature started decreasing day by day. And so it went from like, I don't know, 5 degrees Fahrenheit down to -5 degrees, and then it went to -10 degrees, and then -20 degrees, and then -25 degrees over a period of days, over the period of 1 week or so. And so it was getting colder, and I was working the whole week. And so when the week finished, I came back here to the cabin and chopped a bunch of wood for this little party that I was having with some friends in this different cabin. And we had a fire all night. It was very warm and cozy, even though it was -30 degrees outside Celsius, and you know, very cold, -22, -23 degrees Fahrenheit. But we had a great time. But then in the morning, I woke up and I was thinking Saturday, you know, the next day, I was going to chop a bunch of wood outside, warm up by chopping wood outside in the morning, and then feed this stove so it warms up the house really good and keeps the place warm and toasty. And then I hadn't run my generator all week while it cooled down. So starting a frozen generator is very difficult, even though it's Honda, which is more easy than most generators to start cold or start frozen. So I had all this plan to do all this stuff on Saturday. So on Saturday morning, I was waking up and my back went out. I don't know what happened. Like I had a spasm, or it just seized. Something happened with my back, and I don't even know what happened, but the pain was excruciating. It was some of the most horrific back pain I've ever had in my life. I was laying down in the bed, and it brought me to tears. That's how bad it was. And I have a high pain tolerance because I'm always in pain. But this was something different. And I couldn't get out of the bed Saturday morning. And I knew I had to do all this stuff to survive and to heat this cabin up and all, you know, but I couldn't do it. And it was so painful. But in the morning, I stood up, I got up, and my back, there was like a fire that shot through my back. It was extremely painful when I finally stood up. And I got down the stairs, and I was in a lot of pain. I had a breakfast and a coffee, and this cabin was maybe -5 degrees Celsius inside, which is like 19 or 20 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have to heat this cabin. There's no choice. I have to do it. So my wife, Keiko, was saying, you need to rest, you know, don't do it. But I knew I had to do it. So I got this fire going in here with some trash and just started burning it up and putting some pieces of wood on there and started the fire. Then I went outside and just little by little, you know, carefully took a piece of wood and brought it in here and put it on the fire and got the fire going to where it's burning. And then I went out there and was looking for more wood pieces, and there's none, so I had to chop rounds. And my back was hurting, and I just had to do it. So I chopped those rounds up and brought them in here and put them on, and just started heating this cabin up. And then I had to get the electricity back on. So I knew I had to start the generator. And it was frozen solid because it was so cold the whole week, and I didn't use the generator. So it was just, the oil was congealed, like frozen in there. So you pull a ripcord and nothing happens. And then the ripcord to go back into the spool inside the generator is like going so slow because it's so frozen. So I fought with the generator for probably about 30 minutes and finally got it started. Pulling this ripcord with a bad back. I had electricity now. So now I could cook. So I had heat, I had electricity. My back was starting to get better. Actually, it was not hurting as much anymore. And I cooked and I ate, and then I said, well, I gotta go shopping. I gotta go get some stuff from the store. So I went outside and I tried to start the Buick, and the battery was dead. Because it had been so cold last night, that night before. -31 degrees Celsius. So the battery died, and it's an older battery too. It's like 4 years old. So it's already weak, and it just died. So with a bad back, I had to, and very frozen, painful tools, metal tools, snap-on ratchet wrenches and stuff. It was extremely painful to touch those tools. I had to disconnect the battery from the Buick, lift it up, And the battery in 2003 Buick is in the back seat. So you can't just pull it up like it's from the hood. You have to reach in there and pull it up like this, which is very painful for the back. So I got it out of there, and I came and brought it in here, and I had electricity, so I used my car charger, started charging the battery. But in the morning, in the beginning, before I was able to do that, I thought I was gonna die. To know that even though it's so painful, you have to do it to survive. It's like a perseverance in this life. Because there's no choice. Nobody's going to do it for you. And if you don't do it, you or your family is going to die. Sphinx, my cat's going to die. So I have to do it. I have to heat this cabin. It's dangerous. So you got to do what you got to do. And that's what I did. And then doing that fixed the back ache. But working the back, I believe, perhaps might have fixed it. So that's what I think.